has Liverpool righted the ship?
I don't think they're writing it. I don't think they're there yet. There's improvement, and against Newcastle, they won 2-0, and the only difference between them and Newcastle, quite honestly, because they were getting opened up against Newcastle, was Liverpool took their chances and Newcastle didn't. So they're still vulnerable. Teams can still get at them, and I wonder if this is the case of the way it's going all season with a lot of teams. Is that you think they've turned a corner and then next week they'll come crashing down again. Who knows? They're getting better. And the atmosphere, and when I say the atmosphere, Klopp, his mood seems to be improving. He's not so tetchy now. He's smiling again because they won, and I guess that's a natural thing. But they're getting guys back from injury. Van Dijk, Van Dijk's coming back. They've had a couple of the new signings score. Gakpo and Nunez scored. So, yeah, things are looking better for them. Salah looks alive again. And yeah, so with the defense shoring up, if the continues to improve, if the forwards continue to improve, they need a bit of extra midfield, but they're on the right track, but they're not out of the woods in terms of getting back to where they were by a long way yet. No.
7 points out of the top four. They're 7 points behind Spurs right now for fourth place with 2 matches in hand. So they're not that far off the pace if we look at it. But Van Dijk's back. And I do think that they have improved, right? They had 2 straight clean sheets. The first time since October this season that they've had 2 straight clean sheets. Part of that is I think that Klopp started messing a little bit or working with his midfield. Look, when you have Virgil van Dijk back there, he's going to make sure not only is he going to shut things down and clog things up in the middle, but he's also going to make sure everybody stays into shape at the back end. And so not having him there, they just got lit up in the middle. Well, now Virgil van Dijk's back, but they also started to improve that match before he got back. But just, I think part of it was using midfield rotation to help out those center backs because those center halves were having such a struggle. Now Van Dijk's back, and that guy is a horror movie. Like, I know I said this about De Bruyne last week, but I feel even more so about it with Van Dijk. He is a horror movie villain, and I just presume every time that guy's on the pitch that Harry Kane's going to do nothing and Spurs are going to get 2-0 or something like that. So I am that he is the most terrifying man in the Premier League. I honestly, from a defensive perspective, but I do think that what they can do right now with Van Dijk back and with the way that they're working the rotation in the midfield that will kind of help out the back four is it's going to allow them to be good enough defensively to be able to allow the young guys up front to grow and for them to hit their learning curve. Because you mentioned it, Gakpo, he was able to get a goal this week, but he struggled. He's absolutely struggled. So it's going to take Salah. It's going to take other guys. Jota is going to have to be healthy, and he's going to have to be able to help Liverpool because we know that he can do that when he is healthy. So them being better at the back is going to help out things, and it's going to help out things on the front end while these young guys and these new signees and new transfers kind of get up to speed with the physicality that you have in the Premier League. And so with Van Dijk back, I think they have turned the corner. I think they're going to finish in the top 4 at the end of the year.
Do you really? Yeah, I'm not. It's going to be close. I mean, it'd be tough to bet against them doing that, quite honestly. And yeah, Jota, you mentioned Jota. He's coming back. He's going to be a big plus for them because they've missed him a lot while he's had a bit long-term injury. So yeah, and if you look at that Liverpool squad, it's a good team. If you look at the names on that team sheet, they're all great players. There's nothing wrong with the names of the players, but like you say, the new guys coming in have taken a while. It takes a lot of adapting to in the Premier League, and confidence is a huge thing. So a couple of wins under the belt, confidence growing, training's more fun. Everybody's everyone's getting in a good mood. Everyone's buzzing for the next game. And yeah, you can see it'd be tough to bet against Liverpool. I'm not sure they can do it. I don't know if they've left themselves a bit too much, but yeah, they're definitely on the climb again.
And the one thing that I think that, and it's a problem with Liverpool when Van Dijk went down with the injury a few years ago, and I thought they were exposed for having so many, for having fullbacks and midfielders that what they do is move the ball forward. And that's great when you have everybody when Salah's flying all around the field and they're reversing field on people and things like that, and just killing your back four. You can afford to do that when you have Van Dijk and Alisson back there, because you're not going to get exposed because they're not going to find themselves out of position. And when Van Dijk's not there, then you do get exposed by having fullbacks that like to go forward a little too quickly and by having midfielders that are there to move the ball forward that aren't necessarily there to hold anybody. So I think Van Dijk being there alleviates a lot of the problems that they had, in my opinion, that we see from Liverpool, because they're built to be a team that has Virgil van Dijk and Allison at the back that can just shut anything in the world down. I think don't undersell Fabinho being healthy as well. I think that's one as well that is a major impact, or will have a major impact for Liverpool.